Welcome, Fedi Friends, to episode 14 of Fireside Fedi. I'm your host, Ozoned. Fireside Fedi is a show about folks within the Fediverse. If you're seeing this, you are a part of the Fediverse. With me today is BlenderDumbass, aka JY. BlenderDumbass is a Jewish Ukrainian living in Israel. He's a freedom activist, filmmaker, software developer, and cinephile that only uses free and open source tools to create everything. BlenderDumbass, welcome. How would you like us to address you? Mr. Dumbass?
Don't call me Icon by myself. No, I'm kidding. I mean, whatever you want. Like, I don't really care. Like, you can call me Jay, you can call me Blender. A lot of people call me Blender these days, so you can just call me Blender, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, like, if I'm in the chat somewhere and, you know, the stream is happening, they just call me Blender.
What about BD?
No, not BD. They just, I think it's just because they don't think much, and it says BlenderDumbass, and they don't want to say the word dumbass.
Dumbass, yeah.
So they call me Blender without the dumbass.
So let's go right into that then. Why do you call yourself BlenderDumbass? Because to be honest, when I've watched you do Blender work, you're very involved. You know a lot about Blender. You are anything but a Blender dumbass.
Well, here's where I'm going to reveal something. Maybe a lot of people will start suddenly unsubscribing from here and everything. I wasn't always on the Fediverse. I wasn't always using just free software.
What?
Yeah, you know this thing that you always, like, the first thing you know is something proprietary, and then you decide that it's shit. So I was trying to do a YouTube channel back when, I don't remember, to 2015-ish. And I was trying to do, like, serious Blender tutorials. Well, controversial, yeah, local developer knows what he's talking about. So imagine that. You're making a YouTube channel, you're trying really hard to make serious, Blender tutorials about, like, how to do this and that. And I was, like, literally doing, like, a project, and I was documenting it into tutorials. Nobody watched it. And there was a problem, because now I can speak English normally to you. Back when I was doing that, if I tried to do that like this, it wouldn't work. I literally needed to type the words, and then if I read the words from the paper, yes, it would work. But coming up with the sentences on the go, that was not an option. So what I thought, okay, fine. Let's work the problem. Let's deal with it. Let's make a YouTube channel where I embrace the fact that I'm stupid with English, and embrace and kind of make it a joke of me being a dumbass that tries to explain Blender. And so whenever I, like, stop or, do, like, a stupidity thing, or trying to explain myself with swear words, because that's what you learn first with any language, like, it's just a part of the character of being a Blender dumbass, And so, like, my first few videos were, like, me, like, explaining some interesting stuff about Blender, but I was, like, basically PewDiePie, doing all this stupid shit while also speaking with the most broken language. And, like, the joke was the saving point. And in the end, I learned enough English after a few years of doing that stuff, that the videos of BlenderDumbass kind of became the same boring stuff as the original videos I did, but this time I was literally just improvising on the go. So I learned the language. And so I didn't need to be a dumbass anymore, but the name was kind of good and stuff. Like, it stuck. It was catchy. People remembered it. Also, one more thing. BlenderDumbass is a kind of a good name, because if you do make a mistake somewhere, if you do, like, make a blunder, and people come to you and tell you, you made a mistake here, I can tell them, look, Dumbass is in my name.
It's in the name.
Yeah.
Well, we have a lot of, and obviously I think this is a very American thing. I don't know about a lot of other countries, where if someone doesn't speak the language perfectly, there are people that get really annoyed by that. And the way I've always looked at it is, that person speaks at least 2 languages, and us Americans, vast majority, only speak 1, and poorly at that. Like, the fact that you learned English is amazing to me. I've tried to learn Spanish numerous times, and
I also learned Hebrew, because I wasn't born in Israel. Now I'm living in here because my parents decided that it was a good idea to go here when I was a kid. So, okay, fine. When I was a kid, So here's the thing. Ukraine is a kind of a strange country. Now I don't think they would do that. But back when I was there, everybody spoke Russian, but all of the formal stuff was in Ukrainian. So documents in Ukrainian, teaching in school in Ukrainian, people talk to each other Russian. So for example, if they would show Russian shows on TV, they had a law that they have formally to have at least the subtitles in Ukrainian, but nobody cared to actually translate them sound-wise, while they would translate American shows sound-wise to Ukrainian. Why? Because everybody already speaks Russian, so nobody cares.
Wow.
So I was born into two languages immediately.
And then moved and were immersed in a third, if not a fourth.
Then we moved to Israel. And so here's the problem. I kind of was a good student of English when I was in Ukraine, and we did have Hebrew as well because I was learning in a Jewish school in Ukraine. So we did have Hebrew, but they never had an expectation of us actually learning it to talk. They just kind of taught it as like, because you're Jewish, you have to know a few words, you know? Yeah. So I knew English more than I knew Hebrew when we moved to Israel. So I kind of started speaking English to the students in the school and the teachers and whatnot when we were here, because, you kind of need to be in the school anyway, even though you don't understand shit. So, so I was communicating with the peers in English and then trying to get Hebrew by, slowly getting at what they're saying and coming up with like how to join everything together, and the language started growing in my head. So shalom intraz manishma. I hope he can understand it. For everybody, like Troller is, I think, Lithuanian. I speak no Lithuanian.
But so then Ukrainian, Hebrew, Russian, English.
Yes, and Python.
Yeah, and Blender's language, whatever Blender speaks in, right?
Like, yeah, it's math.
Lots and lots of math. That's amazing, though.
To be honest, though, if I'm trying to speak Ukrainian right now, I think it's because I was not thinking about as Hebrew versus Ukrainian. I was thinking about the language of the country when I was learning it. Sometimes when I think of Ukrainian things to say, I may get Hebrew words mixed into it just because in my brain it's one big mush.
Yeah.
But if people speak to me Ukrainian, I understand perfectly what they're saying. Like if I concentrate, I can make a perfect Ukrainian sentence.
What language do you dream in?
It's all of them. It's all this. It's the mix of everything.
Yeah.
Like I had a dream today that was 3 languages. It was so because I dreamed about a situation in Israel, which everybody speaks Hebrew in, about a situation with my girlfriend who I speak Russian to, but it was about celebrities that speak English. So it was all 3 of them in the same time. Ukrainian doesn't come up very often because your Russian Ukrainian is kind of very similar to one another. Yeah. So I mean, you kind of can. I think if you know Russian, you can understand Ukrainian. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it will sound to you very stupid and strange, but you kind of can get it. But Ukrainian is kind of in the middle between Russian and Polish.
So I don't know how it is today, but growing up in the United States, like we had a big worldly presence, right? And it was always interesting because wherever the focus of the world was at that time, you would see that there were a lot of translators that were highly needed. Like when the U.S. went to the Middle East, like they were looking for folks that spoke any of the languages there, and they were offering huge sums of money to be translators. Right now, you might be one of the most important people on the planet because you can speak all of them.
Yeah, I can speak Ukrainian, Russian. I can talk to Zelensky. I can talk to Putin. I can talk to Trump. I can talk to Netanyahu. What the hell?
Yeah. We just did. What do the Palestinians speak?
Depends. If they talk to Israeli people, they speak Hebrew. They use our Hebrew money, so whatever.
Oh, okay.
But among themselves, they speak Arabic. I don't know
Oh, okay,
Arabic
sure.
much. I know like salam alaikum, which is
Right.
in Hebrew is shalom aleichem. It's the same two words.
Oh, wow. I never knew that they were that close.
It's the same two words. It's just they use a
Interesting.
different accent for it.
Well, and they're both incredibly old languages, right? Like tens of thousands of years old.
They are forks of one another.
I never knew this. See, normally I ask people an interesting fact about themselves, but man, this is amazing. That's great. And,
well,
and see, this is why I love to talk to different people, because for you, this is an everyday thing. This is normal for you, right? Like for me, I only speak English. I have a lot of diverse friends that can speak their own language, but like they only ever speak English around me because that's all I know, and no one wants to be. And you learn 4 different languages. Man, that's amazing.
And there is also Python. I know kind of HTML. I understand CSS.
Little bit different. They're a little bit different though, right? Like
yeah, well, Python is very logical compared to normal languages. In normal languages, you can explain things in weird, like poetry ways. In Python, try poetry; it will give you an error.
So we talked about like how you got literally physically how you got to where you're at, but what got you interested in learning computer languages? What got you interested in making movies and video games?
I guess it's the best thing to explain this. It would be to actually go way back and understand like the whole process of me growing up as a kid.
Sure.
I guess. So I have a theory. I'm not sure that it is correct, but it is a theory because I know my brother, who's like 1 year younger than me. He has a dual boot operating system. He has Windows and Ubuntu on the same machine right now.
Okay.
Right? I have only Pawpaws and nothing else right now. Because I don't.
Pawpaws?
Pawpaws.
Oh, Pop OS. Okay.
Yeah, Pawpaws.
Okay, sorry.
So that's what I have on my machine. I don't have any Windows. I don't touch it. It's like it's like not it's like go away. So I think I remember the first time he saw computers, and I definitely remember when I saw computers for the first time. I remember. So imagine that it was like evening. I think it was Shabbat, so Saturday evening after Shabbat. So Saturday we have like a Jewish thing where we don't touch any electricity stuff. Right. And so in the evening, when you have 3 stars on the night in the sky, you can start touching the electricity stuff. And when my dad went to some place that had a computer room and a bunch of kids who were all Jewish, and they suddenly like came out of nowhere and were like going to the computer room because the Shabbat was ended, and you go to the computer room to play the games and stuff. So I didn't know that this was what they were doing. I just like they all went there and there was like all those computers and all that stuff. And so my dad set me in front of one of them. I think I was 3 years old or so. Like the memory is really fuzzy. He set me in front of one of them. He put my hand on the mouse, and what I see in front of me is Microsoft Paint.
Okay.
I click on the mouse and I drag my hand, and it draws a line. At that time, I remember vividly, I didn't know that I could release my hand from the mouse to stop the line. I thought that I have just one line to do all of the artwork in that thing. So I thought, okay, this is the game. You need to do all the artwork with one line. So I did something. The thing is, my first experience with the computer was Microsoft Paint, and my first task on the computer was to make some work, right? After that, for months, I was thinking about, okay, how do I do the work in this thing? You need to figure out how to do the work. It's important. Then, me and my brother, who was a bit younger than me back, he didn't play in that Microsoft Paint session, but we went to a different place. I think we had some time off in the city, and so my dad like looked around and saw a computer club, like like one of those internet cafes that just have computers you can pay to use them for an hour or so. So we were like around somewhere. And we went into the computer club, and he bought 2 computers for me and for him. And his first experience was GTA 3. So his first experience was it's a gaming machine. My first experience is a tool, right? So
That's
I think
awesome.
I grew up thinking of a computer as, first of all, a tool that I can
Yeah.
do things with, as like, I don't know, this ruler or this thing, or I don't know, the pen or whatever. And
Right.
then secondly, you could do some fun with it, like playing or stuff, but first and foremost, it's a tool. For him, first and foremost, it's a gaming machine. It's a
Yes.
machine that gives you entertainment.
Yeah.
And and you could also maybe make something with it, you know. So that's why he still runs Windows, because he needs, you know, I don't know, he's like targeting 500 FPS and like shooter games, whatever. um he's a nerd in optimization stuff. He was able to make Dani's race run 179 FPS while it's barely running 30 on my machine. um Insane person. Anyway, so yeah, so for me, the computer was always about, you know, working stuff. I remember
Mhm.
when I was, so we didn't have a computer at home at all. We used to go to the internet cafe for an hour a week, maybe.
Sure.
So yeah, we did, I did eventually play a lot of games, but this lingering thought of this was done by people on a computer kept coming up. And then, you know, you see movies like the Finding Nemo or the Monsters Inc. or I don't know, any other like computer generated movies that have 3D animation in them, and I'm like somebody did that on a computer.
Yeah. Yeah.
How? I want to know how.
Yeah.
Right? And then, you know, and then you see movies that are not computer generated, but they have computer generated elements to
Oh,
them.
all of
Like,
them
I
do
don't know,
now. Yeah.
yeah, like you're watching, and you think about this, was 2007, 2008 when I was thinking those things. So you see like the new Superman Returns movie, and he has like a lot of the effects are CG, but not all of them. Like, it's real stuff, but then there's also
Yeah.
CG stuff. And the CG stuff, I know that's the same stuff that they use in Monsters Inc. And that's the same stuff that they use to make those games. And that somehow is done on the computer. Give me computer. I want to know how to do all this stuff.
So it all
Uh,
loops back together. When did you, like, have you always been into movies, and that's you've kind of connected those two together that way, or?
I don't remember, to be honest. I remember doing like you know, stop motion animation things with toys when I was like, I don't know, 8. I took my mom's phone, and it had like a function to pause recording of video. So you
Okay.
know, you could like click it twice really fast, and it would take a frame, or like
Right.
2 frames, but it would be like a frame. And you could put like a I don't know, like, let's say you put this thing on the
Oh,
table, you
yeah,
take
yeah,
a
yeah.
frame,
Stop
you
animation.
yeah, you take a frame, you move it a little bit, you take a frame, you move it a little bit, and then it looks like on the video that it moves or does something. So I would do this kinds of things. So I would kind of make all kinds of, you know, like action films with the with the phone, because I had a lot of cars, like tiny little things like that. And
Okay.
so and so I would do like a bunch of chases, and they crash into each other and all kinds of shit. So so that kind of, and then, you know, you look at movies and you read comic books and all that stuff, and you kind of notice, okay, so wait a second, they drew it from this angle for some reason, you know, and in the film they move the camera in this direction for some reason. This is interesting. Why do they do that? You know, what's the purpose of this angle? What's the purpose of this camera move?
See, that's amazing, because for myself, I just consume the film. Like, I just watch it flat out. But you're right, when there are folks that are in the movie industry, you start to break down shot by shot. Oh, they set the light in this area to cast a specific shadow or
Yeah,
something like that. Do you
yeah.
feel that has changed your perception of movies? Can you just turn that off and be like, this is a great film, I'm just going to go for the ride?
It doesn't look. How do you say it? It adds to it. It doesn't diminish the other
Oh,
thing,
okay.
where you
You can
just see the
appreciate it
story.
more.
Yeah, well, you get not just the story and the feeling you get from the story, but also you get the crafting of it. Because let's say if I'm watching a very very good movie, it's not just, oh, the movie is good because the movie is good, but it's also, oh, because this shot is important, because I know he's doing here something. The only problem would be sometimes you know what they're going for because you know the technique. Like
Right, yeah.
they would set up something in the beginning of the film, and you're like, you know, they need to pay it off. Like, that's for sure. Like, you're
Right.
just waiting for them to pay it off. It's no longer a big reveal. It's just checked. They paid it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I've
So
watched a lot of movies, and everyone knows the best thing I could come up with is, in a horror movie, everyone knows at the beginning of a horror movie, when the person that's obviously not the star, the lights go out and they hear a sound and they walk up to it, like what they're setting up, right? Like that person's about to die,
yeah,
or they'll
that's why
throw you off,
actually
like they open a door and there's nothing there, but they turn around and then it's there, right? Like we've
that,
all seen this enough that we know those kinds of tropes.
that's why sometimes directors are obvious, like they're doing, like they're trying to throw off the audience that knows
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like there was this horror film that the first girl that dies was starring Drew Barrymore. They put the big name actress
Scream.
in the Scream, yes.
Yeah.
They put her in the very beginning and then killed her off immediately.
Yeah.
And it's like that's the joke here. Like he knows that you don't expect her to die because she's a big name actress. You know? And or for example, do you know the director Lars von Trier?
I don't.
So he made a movie. He makes a lot of very, very disturbing movies. But one of the movies he made called Melancholia. It's about like people with depression. But there's like a sci-fi element to it, like a big planet, like blue and huge, coming towards Earth, and will pass by, and you don't know if it's gonna hit or not. Like it's like a big like thing. And this planet is called Melancholia because it represents the depression of everybody. Anyway, so the movie starts with the planet hitting Earth, and then you ask the question, will it hit Earth or not? So he goes out of his way to specifically ruin the reveal in the beginning of the film, so then it will be more interesting for him to make the rest of the movie. So he needs to now constantly grip more attention out of you by doing all of the rest of the movie interesting, because he already destroyed the main premise of it basically for you.
Okay.
He's like a very strange kind of director. One movie he did called Dogville, he specifically didn't do any decorations. Like, like they built sets, no sets. He put like a white floor and he drew on the white floor where the rooms are. That's the set.
Huh.
And so now he needs to make a movie that works while you obviously see that it's fake because you don't see anything. You don't like they might they're opening the doors. Like the actors do that, and there is a sound effect of a door, but there is no door. The funny thing is,
it sounds like it would be fascinating because it sounds like you're going for that. One of the reasons a lot of folks will say flat out that books are just so much better than movies is because your imagination has to draw that in, right? And your imagination will always be more vivid to you than even what your eyes can see. So I'm wondering if that's what he was going for. That sounds very interesting.
I don't know. I think he was going for just like he tries to make the challenge as hard as possible. Like you remove the interesting, the good look and all that, and then you try to make the movie good. The thing is, by the end of the film, the story is so gripping that when the ending happens, you're like shaken from how much the characters are suffering, even though you see that it's all fake because it's like literally in your face that it's fake. Like you're literally shaken by the implications of the drama. It's like it's insane that he pulls it off.
That's crazy. So what? Switching step a little bit. So we talked about what got you into computers and then movies, and they're very cyclical. What seems to break this, though, especially given how very tangibly passionate you are about these two things. How did you get into free and open source software? Why only free and open source software when there are, literally industry defining applications on non-open stuff?
Well, there are two answers to that. First of all, my family always were poor, so we didn't have money for any of that. But the second, more interesting answer, and that's what I experienced myself, because the poor stuff is like the stuff that I can now rationalize. But we didn't have a computer when we were in Ukraine, but my dad always had this idea that we're going to move to Israel. Let's go move to Israel. So his rationale for not having a computer was something like, it's expensive to move the computer, so let's not have it until we're there. And then when we're there, we can have a computer. And so, okay, fine. Well, I waited for until we're here. And so here I am, 12 years old. I'm in Israel right now. I don't have nothing. My dad doesn't buy a computer immediately. That's not something that he did. He borrowed a computer from a friend. It had Windows XP and everything. It was a very bad piece of thing. And the first thing that I did when I literally arrived from the airport. What do you call it? Airport. God damn it. The place with the planes.
Yeah.
You arrived
the airport. Yeah,
the airport. Yeah, I arrived from there to the house, said hi, bye, whatever, I saw the computer, it was within the first 10 minutes of me being in the house. I saw the computer, and the first thing I was like, 3D making application. And that was Blender right there. The Blender was the first thing that I saw. I clicked it, I downloaded it, installed it, and understood that I don't understand what the hell am I looking at. That was, so for the context, it was Blender 2.49b in 2009. So today, if you open Blender, you'll see a 3D cube with a thing. It's beautifully centered, and you see all the you see that it's a 3D scene in the middle and everything. Back in the day, you open it up, you see a flat thing with a grid and a square in the middle, and you don't understand what the hell are you looking at. So if you take the mouse and click the middle mouse button, which a lot of people don't know that it exists even, it's if you click on the wheel and then you move the mouse, that whole thing will shift in the perspective, and you will understand that it's the cube in the middle and the grid is the grid.
Well, Blender's not easy. How did you go from just doing a quick Google search on Blender
I didn't
even being able to use it?
It wasn't easy. The first couple of days, I didn't even know what the hell I'm looking at. So wait a second. Let me just explain the story.
Oh yeah. So, sorry. Go ahead.
So that was this laptop, but we had to return it at some point. So we did. And so my dad was like, computer, we have to have a computer. Let's buy some computer from a friend. So he bought an old computer from a friend, which was not very, good. But he decided to dual boot it. But here's the thing. My dad was not one of those Windows and GNU parallel dual booters. No. We dual booted OpenSUSE and Linux Mint. Why? Linux Mint had support for graphics card and for Wi-Fi drivers at the time, and OpenSUSE had an installable version of Blender. Even though we all know Mint can have an installable version of Blender, for some reason, the installable version. Oh, no, okay, I remember what happened. By that time, Blender 2.5 released, and I already learned enough of Blender 2.49. And Blender 2.5, they completely remade the UI so much that it was unrecognizable.
Different versions then.
I didn't want to move to the new Blender quite yet. And if you do sudo apt get install in Mint, you get the new Blender, and I needed the old Blender. But in the what do you call it? The OpenSUSE, we managed to install the old Blender. So my daily thing was kind of like this. My brother was playing games, he was playing at the time Super Tux and all that kind of stuff because he's the gamer kind. Then when my turn was, I had to, because we didn't have the graphics card drivers for the OpenSUSE, I had to literally open the computer up, unscrew the graphics card out of there, put the cable into the other port inside of the computer. So now everything is on CPU. Launch into OpenSUSE and then work on that Blender thingy in I don't know, maybe I had 10 FPS while the cube was there. It was really painful, but that's how I was learning the program.
That's incredible though. The fact that I was saying this before the show, the amount of grit and tenacity that you have to do what you're passionate about. Most kids would be like, oh, there's a video game, I'll just go play that. But you're like, no, I'm going to do surgery on the computer just so I could do Blender. That's great.
Technically speaking, my little brothers, I have a million of them. Some of them one of them is going to be 11.
He learned Blender under software rendering, which had to be painful.
Wait, you learned Blender under software rendering? Yes. My brothers, they're 10, 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 3 of them at least. They learning Blender right now. They're younger than when I was learning. I was 12, 13. They're a little younger than that. They have my father is, I don't know what the hell is wrong with him. He bought like 2 or 3 laptops that are complete garbage. Like they're trying to, like, Super Tux card works on the lowest settings. It still gives them 10 FPS. They tried some of the maps, like there's the map in the jungle in Super Tux card. It's like
I've played it. I don't remember any of the maps. But...
It's one of the heavier maps in Super Tux card. This map doesn't even load in. Like it doesn't have enough RAM for it. So on those pieces of shit computers, they're learning Blender right now. From one side, I wanna give them a good machine like mine, maybe even just one, just for them to be able to do something. But on the other hand, they're learning optimization a lot right now.
Yeah,
because they literally need to, because when you're learning something like Blender, polygon counts matter a lot and stuff like that. And if you have a good computer from the get-go and you like make a very round cube and very round like characters and very like detailed location and everything just good and beautiful and amazing from the get-go, you don't understand suddenly when other people complain about why it's not working. But if you from the get-go you understand, okay, 1 cube it is kind of smooth, 2 cube it's a little bit chaggier, 3 cube, oh my god, it's already bad,
right.
So you kind of understand the computer has limitations, you have to be patient with it. So sometimes they call me like how do I make a character animation, and I need to explain them rigging over the phone. So yeah. But they understand it. I mean, they have a good amount of understanding that I don't need to explain them everything. I just tell them, when you do Shift A to add object, look for armature. You found it, good. Now you need to extrude 1 bone out of it. You did it. Now you have 2 bones, good. Now you need to parent the object to the armature. But when you're parenting, select automatic weights. You did it, yes, fine. Now go to the pose mode. It has pose mode. Did you find it has object mode, edit mode, and pose mode? Oh, I found it. Okay, so select one of the bones, try rotating it, and then and it bends the object with it. So they're like, yes, I got it now. Now I can do everything myself, because the main idea is understand it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, understand the basic mechanics of it, and then go play and see where you can go from there. But that's
moment, 1 second. I need to turn on my thing.
Go ahead.
It's getting hot in here.
Mine's the same way.
You will see me doing stunts now. Tom Cruise. Here we go.
Fine.
It's gonna be a little bit.
There's so the main things that you've created is Moira's race and Dani's race.
There's also I'm Not Even Human.
Oh, well, I mean, looking at your website, so I can pull this up for folks. Blender has BlenderDumbass.org, so it's going to be easy to remember. But Blender has this, and you have all kinds of games and videos and stuff. The main ones that I've talked to you about are Moira's race and Dani's race. Which one came first? Moira's race came first.
Moira's race came first. There was I'm Not Even Human before that. So let me just explain. I was trying to make a movie when I was 15. Okay. It's still work in progress because I kind of messed up some talking with people. So the movie was about robots that were there was a fight with robots, but it's not about that. It was about the characters surviving that war, kind of. Yeah. So the idea was to shoot it on green screen, and everything else would be Blender. So the robots are Blender, the environments are Blender, everything else is Blender. I made some good looking renders, singular renders, not animated renders, and made 1 shot of a movie with a friend playing one of the characters, but then he kind of gave up on the film because the beginning of the film, I made it so it's in the mud, and he's dirty and wet from rain, and he wakes up after the war. So I literally poured water on him and made him dirty, and he kind of decided that that's too much of a pain to do the movie. But the shot was great. Like this 1 shot was amazing. Like it looked good. It had like a piece of debris on the background. Like it was nice. So that project didn't happen, and I was kind of starting to think that maybe maybe I cannot finish a project because I'm going too hard on it or something. I don't know. So there was this game back in 2012, 2013 called Sintel the Game. Do you know the Blender animation studio makes like little Blender animation videos?
Buck Bunny is a big one.
Big Buck Bunny, yeah, they did Elephant Dreams, Big Buck Bunny, Sintel, So Sintel is one of the films that they did in 2010, and then somebody started a project making a Sintel game in Blender Game Engine, and everybody was excited about this because it's like a super cool looking kind of medieval style kind of dragon slayer kind of game. And then one time he published an article saying, so basically the life happened, he needed to do money, he needed to work, he doesn't know when will the project ever be on priority and stuff. I looked at it back in I was like 15 or so. I looked at it and I decided that that's not gonna happen to me ever. Even if life happens, I cannot let down the people that are paying attention to my project like this. So the movie about robots is still work in progress. I didn't finish it. Maybe it's still gonna come out. So then I made a music video. I was learning to do music. Music video was called Cold Night Moon. Don't look it up. It's very cringe. It's so I basically just learned the guitar, and I learned like the most basic thing. I got a person who knew music, and he told me, like, frankly, you're not playing in the key. And I'm like, I don't care. Okay, I made the music video. I got a person to be in the video. So that there was this whole concept of in the middle of the night, an alien steals a little girl and takes her to the spaceship or whatever. So I had to have a little girl, and that guy who was like the musician, he had a bunch of kids. And I was like, can I use one? And he's like, okay, fine. And then all of them, like imagine 20 of them or so. I don't know, not 20, like maybe 10 of them. So we're shooting in the middle of the night. I hired a photographer to be a videographer because it's cheaper than getting a camera myself. And so it's supposed to be nobody on the street, and then there's this little girl wandering, like sleepwalking onto the street, and the alien is taking her, right? But outside of the camera, outside of the frame, you see all the 10 other kids already sleeping because it's in the middle of the night. And then this 5-year-old is like, she's also sleeping, but then I'm like, are you ready for the shot? And she's like, oh. She plays her part, and then so this cringe fest of a music video was the first project that I actually finished till the end. Because I released it and it was like, yes, even though it's shit, it's good. It's something that I did.
You released something. That is a goal. That is learning. That is progress.
And it's not just me shooting stuff. It had visual effects in it. It had an alien in it. It had a spaceship that beams light and takes them out and all that stuff. It had visual effects in it. It was kind of something interesting that I made that took me like maybe, I don't know, a couple of months to do visual effects wise and stuff. So I knew, okay, I can do something. Let's just focus on doing the next thing kind of this way. Like I have to finish it. I don't care what it is. So I'm Not Even Human kind of came out as the next project. I'm Not Even Human. I thought of I'm Not Even Human for a long time, but it was kind of always too grandiose. It was trying to be like, I wanted to open the movie with the shot of a huge like a whole city, I wanted just to make so much stuff in Blender so people will just jaw dropped from how much work there is, but then I decided not to do it because
that's a lot of work.
I decided to just make the movie and make like kind of more economically, just focus on making the movie. Don't focus on making a good movie. Just finish it, goddammit. It took me 3 years, but the movie was done, and you can kind of see, I think on my website, if you go /films, you can see I'm Not Even Human there. It's I'm just a warning. It's a little vulgar. It has really violent shots of people, like bloody stuff. It has sex jokes and stuff. So
before we go on real quick to take a tangent, because I did show, like I went to your page and saw I'm Not Even Human, and I hit play to kind of see through it. You have a very specific art style for all of these. Like it's pretty consistent through all of them. Is this an art style that you specifically chose, or how did you come up with the art style that you do of
You mean the characters and all
the
that
characters,
stuff?
the cars, that kind of thing? A very shiny.
I think so. On I'm Not Even Human, and I'm looking at a poster of it right now. It's on my wall. So the shininess of the world, I just like, movies about future, and all of them have like the shiny worlds and all.
Okay,
that stuff.
that's kind of what I thought you were going for.
Yeah, and I very like, I don't know, it's kind of a controversial topic within the filmmaking and cinephilia, but I really dig J.J. Abrams' lens flares. So I don't know, people don't like them. He kind of stopped doing them, but I really love them. Like like the first two Star Trek movies and Super 8, mwah, just chef's kiss. Especially that scene that everybody talked about, that you don't see her face while she does an emotional scene. Amazing. So I like glowy stuff. I like the anamorphic lens look. Anamorphic lens, if you don't know, it's a lens do you know what anamorphic lens is? So before there was like digital cinema, everything was shot on film, and the standard film format is 4:3, right? So imagine shooting a widescreen movie on a 4:3 film. It's not working really good. Either you can crop it in and make like a very small portion of the film actually exposed, or you can make a bigger film, which some movies actually did, which is actually wider. But also you can take a special lens that squeezes the image into 4:3, and then when you project it, you unsqueeze the image into widescreen again. So the lens is not circular, it's kind of squished. So the light goes in and does a thing that puts a widescreen picture on a 4:3 film. So that's anamorphic lens. The problem with anamorphic lens is because it's doing that squishy thing, it's also, does stuff to the light, to the picture that is specific to anamorphic lenses. For example, the bokeh effect, the circles of the defocus when it's really, really shallow depth of field.
No idea what you're talking about. I only watch it, man. I don't. But anyway, please go on.
Wait. I'll share my screen. I'll show some of it inside of Blender. Okay.
They're not going to see it.
Well, I'll show it to you, and maybe you can explain it to them. So here's Blender, right?
Okay.
Let me just take one of the pans. If I put one of the cubes far away from the camera, and then I look at it from the camera like so, right? And I turn on the rendering mode. And then I make the camera itself really shallow depth of field. So I add a depth of field. Where is it? Yeah, here it is. And then I put it like so. You see that this cube is now really blurry.
Yes.
If this cube had like a point, let's just make a point. Vertices? Yeah, smaller. This cube had a point, and that point, that really, really one point, I hope, was really bright. Does it work? Come on, Blender, don't you dare. Oh no. I have too much stuff working on right now. You see now? Oh, here we go. You see that this point becomes a circle,
right?
Because it not just blurs it, like everything that is brighter than white, it kind of goes outside and becomes a circle. Now you can see if I decrease it even more, it becomes a bigger circle, and if I make it so it's a circle. Now with anamorphic lens, you'll get something like that. It's not a circle; it's an oval,
right? Because
the lens is squishing the stuff.
Okay.
So that's one of the things anamorphic lenses do. Also, they usually coat them with this blue filament on top to protect it from UV rays and stuff. So it's a very light thingy. You barely see it on the color of the film, but if you shine a very strong light at it, it tends to do this bluish light on into both directions from the point of light. You could see it in J.J. Abrams movies. He likes to show a light source directly into the camera, and you see like a light beam from like a blue light beam into two directions. That's because he's using an anamorphic lens type.
So when you're really passionate and taken with this style that it reflects in your work, right? And that is, when you look at it, that is specifically you. Like, you really enjoy these kinds of futuristic, different kind of camera angle, different kind of effects that you normally see. You are leading by example, essentially, on what you enjoy.
Well, yeah, I like it. Also, it's not just futuristic. There are a lot of movies that do this kind of stuff. I think I wrote an article a long time ago. It's not on my website. I need to probably republish it on my website about this idea of wet look versus dry look in the movies. So there are a lot of movies, like if you look at Sergio Leone films, there are dry look movies. They're all they're dusty. They look like they don't have a drop of moisture anywhere. But that's because it's a Western and it's in the sand, and it has to kind of look dryish, right?
Yeah.
But then if you look at something like Fight Club, it's a wet look movie. Everything kind of always dripping, everything is wet. So I like the wet look movies more. Okay. Just aesthetically, they look more pleasing to me. The one thing that makes this aesthetic more aesthetic is that you have more glass stuff and more reflective stuff. That's what I like to put into my movies. For example, in Moira's phrase.
Well, I'm showing off. You did a video 2 months ago on PeerTube, and yeah, you can definitely see there's a lot of, even the road itself. It kind of looks like it's either like totally wet, or it just looks like you're driving on glass.
In Dani's phrase, yes, it's supposed to be kind of a futuristic plasticky thing that they use instead of asphalt.
Oh,
why is it like this? It's because so Moriar's race, that's the first part of the series, was set in all at night, and for night scenes they usually wet the floor. That's what they call it. So basically they take like a bunch of water and put it on the asphalt to make a bunch of like little puddles that makes the shot more interesting and more reflective, like the road becomes more reflective. I decided while it's future, why not just make the whole road made out of something reflective?
Some kind of super material.
Yeah, so it kind of does the same effect, like cinematography wise, while it's also explained by the fact that it's future. And I made the line in the middle of the road be glowy, like neon stuff, so it's more futuristic.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, that's what I was going for. I was kind of doing this wet the floor idea because the movie is at night. Now for Dani's race, I just have to continue the canon because it's in the same universe. So that's why in Dani's race, everything is super shiny and polished and stuff.
Okay.
So you were asking me about how I ended up being on GNU/Linux. I told you that's because my dad was doing a dual boot, and we basically just had GNU/Linux in the house, and that's what I learned. That's the computer stuff I learned.
Yeah.
We didn't have Windows at home. And because
that's what I've tried to explain. One of the reasons I absolutely love free and open source technology is for those people, like everyone should have the benefit of the internet, in my experience. Maybe not standard toxic social media, but the vast amounts of knowledge that you can, like, you've done all of this yourself. Like, you didn't go, like, no one took you aside and it's like, you're going to learn Blender today. You found it, you installed it, you learned all of it yourself. That's empowering. That could change people's lives, and that's amazing. And you give back. All of the stuff that you do, you post up on your PeerTube for others to learn. You don't just show off your products, your final things. You actually work through how you're doing it. You're a teacher.
Well, yeah.
That's amazing.
Sometimes it feels weird. Like I'm catching myself a lot on when I'm talking to people in conversations about stuff that is technical, and I understand suddenly that they don't understand stuff about it.
Yeah.
Like I'm catching myself on this wait a second, you don't understand, this is obvious. Like, yes, you're using the terminal, like it's obvious. Or like, yes, it's called a face in Blender, but it's a polygon. Yes, it's obvious. Or you need to triangulate the polygon. Like it's like I have to catch myself. So I try to when I'm explaining stuff, I tend to slightly over explain things, just to make sure that I'm catching the people, just in case they're not technical enough.
Yeah.
I've also found myself, so now I'm speaking to you English that is more or less fine, but if I talk to somebody who knows only English, but only a little bit, I tend to talk broken English, just so I'm on the same level of English as that person, so he doesn't need to think about what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know any other languages, so I don't know how that works.
So
I actually don't understand.
Imagine there's a foreigner that just arrived and he learned English a little bit and he kind of can communicate, but he cannot communicate much. So he says, instead of like what's the price of this item in the store, he says, this how much money?
Yes,
this,
right.
You know. So you don't talk to him. The price of this item in the store is, you say, this $5.
Yeah, you just answer back.
More.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you don't try to say more. You kind of speak on the same level of English to him, so it's gonna be easier for him to understand. Yeah, that's something that I do often, and I'm like, I'm catching myself on the fact that I'm doing that, and that I know that I can do better English at this point, and I'm wondering whether he thinks that I'm stupid because I'm speaking kind of a bronchi English right now. Like, I know that I can do better, but I also know that if I do better, he might probably not understand me.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to do.
And so one last, because we're coming up to an hour, we've almost been talking for an hour already. And so we still have our quiz and wrap up and whatnot. But one of the things that I find that you do with all of this is you don't just release everything you have immediately. You don't have a Git and you just telling everyone get it from the Git. No, you do standard cadence releases, but that standard cadence is not standard. The standard that you define is not based on time. It is based on a petition. So tell me about that. How did that come about? What is the goal to this? Because this is I have never heard anyone else doing this, and it sounds very unique and interesting.
So, again, I started using GNU/Linux, and it's a little bit of a weird story that I'm going back to my childhood about this, but if I can throw the thread, maybe you will understand where I'm going for.
Sure.
So imagine that I'm doing Blender, right? And Blender is not just free as in Libra, is also free as in beer. Is you don't need to pay them to install the program, right? I'm using that to make animations. I'm showing people off not just my stuff, but also like Big Buck Bunny and Scintilla and whatnot, and they don't believe me. They think no, there should be a paid version of this program. That's not true. What you're saying here. The kids from school or something, they're like, no. That's definitely just a demo version that you downloaded. It can do some, but the stuff that they're doing,
you can't
those
do.
Good movies, you can't do it on your version. You have to pay. Definitely on the website, there's something to pay for. Right. Then I'm showing them my operating system. Then no. Wait. That's not possible.
You get the shareware version.
Definitely Windows is better in some way. And then I'm talking to professionals in the industry, people that are like 60 years old that that they do the comic stuff and whatnot, and they using Windows and a Photoshop, and I'm like talking like you can do that in like Krita or something, and you can do it in Blender, and he's like no. It's the thing that you're paying for that definitely has some value for it, and I'm like, and I catch myself like I need to argue with them to kind of how do you say it, to justify me using something different, Yeah. And that became kind of like I went on a quest of finding the arguments. Why is what I'm doing is fine or better even sometimes? Like, why is Blender better than Maya or 3ds Max or whatnot, right? Why is GNU/Linux better than using Windows? Like, I know that I like it more, but I don't have the argument. And so I'm looking for the argument, and I'm finding, first of all, I'm looking through the Blender's website and how they do, and they release it, and then it's more open, and they give people are like, this is an open community, and it's like, it's good. I understand what they're going for, but I don't understand yet. And then one day, it clicked. I found Richard Stallman.
I am so sorry. No, kidding.
No. Think about this. This guy, even though he's weird and ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh God, logo developer. Yeah. Even though he's weird and ridiculous.
He is, yes.
He has very, very strict explanation of why what I use is much better than what they use.
Yes.
So I mean, this is the perfect kind of information that I literally looked for to explain why my shit is better than their shit.
Yeah.
So I have to embrace it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm like, okay, fine. And then I'm looking for what he's arguing for. He's coming from the position of freedom is the most important stuff, and all the rest of it doesn't matter if it breaks freedom of people, right? Like so think about this. If I abuse you to gain something from you financially,
100%.
What the fuck is that? It's like rape. It's ridiculous, and yet we allow it in the digital work. Like we allow basically those people who do proprietary software, they are taking the control over our machines instead of us having the control over our machines. This is
no, and it's interesting because it was always such a non-tangible thing for people to grasp. So they were always fine. Like, oh, well, I couldn't do this, so I'm glad they're doing it for me. But now the problem is it started to trickle into other industries, right? Like we have a movement in the United States now called Right to Repair, where there's a lot of people being like farmers. Farmers have classically, when their tractor broke down, they fixed it. They got out and fixed it because that harvest needs to come in now. They don't have time to wait. And now that the manufacturers have realized, oh, the software developers can do that, we can do it too. It's like, no. But I agree with Stallman on principle. He goes to a bit extreme for me, but
well, he's doing this from a perspective, as far as I could tell, he's doing this as like, okay, he has the principle. Let's apply it to absolutely everything. If the most important thing in life is freedom, then every single violation of it, no matter if it's a good cause, bad cause, doesn't matter what cause, it's a violation of freedom. It's a bad thing that needs to stop immediately. Now, you cannot do that. There was an article that FSF actually published that I wrote, where I did some thinking. Stallman disagreed with me on that, by the way, but FSF agreed. Stallman disagreed on a very technical issue, but he agreed with the general spirit of it. So I looked at specifically surveillance. Like people. So what is surveillance? It takes your privacy away. What's your privacy? Right. It's your freedom to either say or not say something about yourself, right? So it is freedom in the end of the day. It's one of your freedoms. So if you take freedom as a whole, it's like your whole freedom. No, privacy is one part of it.
And that's why we go to such great lengths to protect it, right? Because it is that if your freedom goes today, if your privacy goes today, whose is next?
Not just that. I made a literal calculation. Okay, let's say there is like a new law of something, because there are a lot of like the European Union wants to do a law where they see all your messages in apps and stuff. And in America, I think they're doing the same kind of thing. And so I'm thinking, okay, what are the arguments for why that? How do they justify this law? They always justify it somehow. Like some people were sent some bad things on the internet, this and that. Okay, what are they justifying here? So one of their main issues with that is the CSAM thing, the pornography, illegal pornography. Yeah. What's the problem with that? Where is this taking freedom of people? And it's really easy to see. If somebody publishes a video of you which you didn't consent to publish, it's taking your privacy away, right? So they're fighting to increase privacy of people by taking privacy away from people.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense. So I thought maybe, okay, let's be the devil's advocate and let's calculate how much freedom is gained and how much freedom is lost by that thing.
Yeah.
I came up with a list completely arbitrarily of about 10 freedoms, and I came up with like a bunch of like, you know, scenarios, because it's not just that. You know, if you know like what the criminals are talking to, if you have total surveillance over all people, you can catch criminals really fast, right?
Right.
So I calculated how much.
Well, and then you redefine who a criminal is, though, is the problem.
No, but let's just focus on like murderers and thieves,
actual
and
criminals, okay,
rapists, and you know the big guys, you know the bad motherfuckers. And so I calculated how much freedom is each of them taking. The murderers were the hardest because they take all of your freedom for the rest of your life, right? Yeah. Because after you're murdered, you cannot do anything, right?
This is an interesting conversation.
Yeah. If somebody steals from you, they're taking only that item from you, and maybe you can return it, but let's say that they're successful and that they take this item for the rest of your life, but it's only one thing, so it's not as bad as somebody killing you, right?
From a physical, because it goes more than that, right? We know now that there's psychological, mental damage. You're not getting into any of that. You're talking about this item. I take this item from you. Right. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm trying to do the math. So I found out, like, I made a very arbitrary list of 10 freedoms, 10 more or less freedoms. Like, one of them is privacy, one of them is free speech, one of them is like freedom to walk around places, freedom to have property, 10 freedoms, right? Really good like number that is easy to make math with. And so, okay, if you take privacy, of all people in the country, you take tenths of all freedom in the country, because privacy is 10th of all freedoms, right? So in order for that to be justified...
Oh, I see where you're going.
In order for that to be justified, the problem you're fixing should be worse than 10th of all freedom in the country. Now, the worst country that I found when it comes to homicide was, I think, Jamaica. It had 0.001% of freedom taken because of all the murders that they did. Yet, if they implement total surveillance to stop it, they make 10%. They claim like 1,000 times more by trying to stop it, which means that they making the situation 1,000 times worse by trying to stop the murderers. Like literally letting the murderers do murder is better for the freedom of the country. So
you're saying like a targeted law saying no murderers, murder is illegal. That is a 1-to-1 correlation versus we need to monitor all of your communications in order to prevent murder, which happens at such a small scale that by doing this, you affect adversely more people than you are helping.
You affect more freedom, not necessarily more freedom, more people, more freedom, because I'm doing 10 freedoms per person, so it becomes a little bit more complicated mathematically. But yeah, the idea is it is apocalyptically bad to allow for mass surveillance. Like even if you add all
That's an interesting way to look at it.
Even if you add all the other problems, like maybe somebody shares a picture of you, maybe somebody does something bad to that person, maybe somebody steals, it still doesn't add up to 10% of all people being taken advantage of.
And we're talking large, grand scale legislative changes. That's interesting. It's an interesting way to look at it. I have to think about that.
What I think is necessary to do then is maybe you can have some kind of an algorithm to calculate how much freedom is being taken by inaction and how much freedom is being taken by action of a certain, system of government or whatever, and then compare them to if the government is taking more freedom than it gives back, than it solves, then it's an ineffective government. It's a negative effectivity of the government. Like the government does everything worse than if it ceased to exist. Then so the goal there is to make a government that is a positive net freedom government.
I
don't know if it is possible. But at least if the goal is to be the most positive government.
If you flip it on its head, though, so let's say that we're looking to help the poor. you could argue that taxes are an abuse of my freedom to then, like, I hope your economy isn't helping 10% of the people. But you could up the number, I guess, say, these people are, under this law, these people would be considered poor, thus helping over 10%. That's an interesting way to put it.
Well, yeah, you have to do the math to not make it by mistake worse than it needs to be.
Okay.
Now, speaking of that, so we have this idea of freedom that is defined as the cornerstone on which we can place everything else. And free software, Libre software, whatever you want to call it, open source, some people call it, is the necessary part. Because if you have non-free software, the person is losing a little bit of the ownership of his computer. It's a very tiny little piece of thing. It's not like we're losing the entirety of the privacy or whatever. It's not 10%. It's like, It's just the computer and just a little bit inside of the computer. It's still a problem, though. It's still like I'm poking at you. I'm still fucking you a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So
gently. It's just a gentle.
You need to stop that somehow, And so what are the counter arguments for releasing everything as free software? A lot of people will have a counter argument, and the biggest one of them is that we cannot make any money with free software. Okay, fair enough.
Which we know isn't true, but yeah.
Fair enough.
You can't make standard based on today's world money, right? Like there are ways to do this, and it's a problem we're figuring out. But I know you're on that side. But anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So that's the copyright industry take on the free/Libre stuff, right? How can we make money if it's all free? And they have a point. If I can take a thing, right, and just copy it to all my friends, none of my friends will gonna buy it, right? So they are not making as much money as they would have, maybe theoretically speaking, as if the friends wouldn't have the ability to ask it from me,
Right. So that's where the petition comes in.
Well, so wait a second. Then you can look at software like Blender and software like, I don't know, GIMP or GNU, other software.
Right.
A lot of them actually do make money. Some of them are really strange, like Ardour, for example. They're just simply selling you the binaries on their website. So, like, you can compile it or you can install it with apt-get without needing to do anything. But on the website, they're selling you the binaries. So their model is basically ignorance. People don't know that they can get it for free there, so they're going to pay me here. That's
Forced
their model.
donation.
I thought about this. It's not a donation. They're literally selling you the binary.
Well, yeah, but yeah.
Then there's donation models like the Blender and all of that. Now, if you look at the donation model, even though Blender gets a lot of money, most of it is corporate donation.
Yes, right, yes.
So it is NVIDIA because if people use Blender, people need to buy NVIDIA for the rendering on the GPU. They benefit from that, so they support Blender. Right. I don't know, Epic Games support Blender because people need to do 3D models to use the Epic game engine, and so they support Blender. Stuff like that. That is understandable from any like this kind of perspective. Who will support? Like, think about this. What corporation would support in donations something like Super Tux Card, though?
Oh, no. Yeah, no, never.
Nobody.
Right.
Now, here's the thing. A lot of people are going to GNU/Linux right now because of Valve and because Valve did Proton, which enabled a lot of Windows games to play on GNU/Linux normally.
Right.
This solves a little bit of a problem because people moving from one bad operating system to one good operating system. But it does not solve the problem completely because even though they move to a good operating system and they have most of the software on the operating system good, they're still moving with all of that garbage, all of that proprietary game stuff that they're buying the computer to begin with too. Now, I never seen that as necessary. I always seen the computer as a tool, first of all, and then the gaming console.
Right.
But people like my brother, they need this gaming part of it. So we can have an argument to say, okay, you don't need Photoshop, you can use GIMP. You don't need, Adobe Premiere, you can use Kdenlive or Blender or whatnot. But what do you tell people that want to use GTA 5? What do you tell people that want to use Minecraft? Okay, Minecraft, you can tell them Luanti, right? Mario Kart, you can tell them Super Touch.
Yeah, you're never going to have a one-to-one.
Yeah, so we kind of need to at least try to compete, at least. So we have to be able to make a lot of games that are free software. So there will be a base to actually be a gamer in totally 100% free software world, which don't just look like shit, you know, which are not like speed dreams that barely can make something look kind of nice, but it's all stupid. But that are actually kind of, you know, games with story, games with open world, games with good graphics. That was my goal originally with Dani's Race. I was like, I need to compete with these motherfuckers because we don't have any of the kind of stuff they have here, right? So a person would be able to, like, I mean, nobody doing it. I guess I'm gonna do it. Fuck you.
Yeah, that's how I find myself here.
The most obvious part starts. Okay, if I want to convince then all of these companies, if I want to convince Epic Games to release their games as free software, maybe if I want to try even to do that, I need to at least have an argument when they say it's not, you know, there's no incentive monetarily. So I have to come up with a way to do money with a free software game, which donations-wise, it's not going to happen. Because most of the donations come from corporations that do not have any benefit from me making a game, especially if it's like corporations like Epic Games, which I'm literally like directly competing to them. That's not going to happen. I need to have a model that will work that does not need that. And so I thought about this for a second, and I thought about this. Okay, wait a second. So I need to release the source code with the binaries, but wait a second. What if I don't release the binaries? What if I don't ever release anything? You know, what if the software is not available to nobody? Like, if I'm literally still working on the version and I didn't release it, didn't git push it, you know, nobody has it apart from me.
Right.
And the Freedom 3 and Freedom 4 of the free software, it is like you have the freedom to share copies. It's not a requirement to share copies, right? You can tell people, no, I don't want to give you my copy. Like,
okay.
So if they have a copy, they can share the copy around, right?
Right.
But if I'm the only one who has the copy, I can tell people I don't want to give you the copy.
Okay.
So unless somebody else but me has the copy, I'm not afraid of the copy being spread around. So until I give it to the first person, right, I have here this potential of marketing, of something to do with this market-wise. So I thought about this. Okay, what if I, instead of selling to one person, I'm selling to the community as a whole? So I'm telling you, I have this version of the game.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
I have this version of the game. I made it. It's done. Look at it. There's a video. There's a screenshot. There's like this and that. You can see the whole video of how I did this, right?
Yeah.
There is proof that this exists. I will upload it as soon as you, the community, do some goal that I want from you. It could be make my bank account by $200 bigger, you know, or just subscribe to this person. Yeah. That's the petition. Or subscribe to this person. So at the moment, the petition that is right now for Dani's Race is to subscribe to Rowdy Joe, because Rowdy Joe helped me with the game. That's awesome. As soon as he gets the amount of subscribers that I put in the goal, I'm uploading the version.
And you're boosting up someone else. It's another self loop. So I can't.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna do another. So the previous petition was to boost Frenzo, because he did a very important stream where he discovered a bunch of bugs about the game. And the previous petition was, here's Rowdy Joe in the chat. Give him applause.
They're supporting you. You support them. That's a close.
Yeah. At some point, I think I need to figure out the legal part of it. But at some point, I will start introducing petitions that are paid. But they're not going to be 100% of the petitions. Yeah, current petition, tank controller. So one petition would be give me money. One petition would be subscribe to this guy. He helped me. One petition, give me money. Subscribe to her. She helped me.
That's awesome. That's great. I love that.
So I'm thinking, so maybe sometimes I'll do subscribe to me. I need some followers here.
So what would success look like to you then? Would it be that the world is completely on free and open source software? Would it be 1,000 people played Dani's race, or what does that look like to you?
There is always levels of success. There's always levels. At the moment, success for me would be fixing the pursuit immediately deactivates bug. What else? Making a cheat code to pip my ride, Drody Joe's idea. Making so in the scene 2 there will be a glowy round thing where you.
But that's also great though, because your idea of success are things that you can control and things that you have.
That is the immediate success though.
Yeah, no, but that's good because people don't see that as success a lot of times. People see that as work to get to success. But then in that case, the work never stops, right? The success never gets there.
Well,
but I love this idea that you can consider those success. You look at the small level. That's good.
So, for example, one of the ways that I made, because look at this. I'm not even human. 3 years of work. Moira's race 3.5 years of work. I'm already working for 1.5. A Solid Heron published the link to Rowdy Joe. If you sign up. If you follow this account, you will sign the petition. So you could just do that. It's on the Fediverse, as you can see. Get to 50 followers. If you can get 50 followers in this stream, that will be funny. That will be really good.
Not in this. There's not even that many people in this stream. Maybe overall, but
if you share the link to other people, So what I did for I'm Not Even Human was I made this little program in Python, which is like a little GTK thing that has a checklist for everything. And so, for example, there would be a task to, let's say, make this character. And in this character, that would be a task to, I don't know, make the model, make the rig, make the, colors and textures and whatnot.
Okay.
And in these things, that would be subtasks. So everything is always tasks. And every time that I click the little check button to make it check, I have boost of energy in myself because I know, okay, I finished that. I did something today, And then when I did like the entirety of rigging, damn, I did a big project right now, right? And then when I did the entirety of the character, holy shit, that was big, And I see the progress bar of everything always kind of moves forward. And in the end, on Moriar's race, I had even more complicated version of the same program. I rewritten it to use like my own custom UI and all that stuff. It's called Blender Pipeline, by the way, if you look for it. So in that new version, every time that I click, it calculates basically how much do I need to do this particular day to get to the deadline, and if that one thing moved me, how much it moved me, and it automatically animates like a little animation of this moved me this much %.
That's great.
And then it gives me like a notification of that's it. You don't need to do anything today. You're on the deadline. You're fine. You can relax now. So this is how it was constantly motivating me. I kind of probably need to do that for Dani's race because I'm using pieces of paper right now for this. But but I could use Blender Pipeline maybe for that as well. Yeah. I don't know, maybe. The structure of the game is a little different, though. So if you always put, like, small goals that are parts of bigger goal, that are parts of the bigger goal, that are parts of the bigger goal, it's easier. It's easier. No, it's not easier because you have to do the job. It's easier on your mental health. It's like it's mentally more stable to continue working on the project. It's not easier. You still need to do all the work, but... what I'm saying is you'll keep being motivated because you're constantly hitting the goal. You constantly, I did that. I just accomplished something.
Well, and it's the carrot. The carrot's always like, I got the carrot. What's the next carrot? It's never the stick.
I prefer apple. No, I prefer oranges. Right. Carrot is a little too sour.
Well, there's a saying. It's the carrot and the stick. Like, how do you get the horse to go forward? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so,
no.
Well, and that's we have to wrap it up here. But now for the real reason I asked BlenderDumbass here is to give them an opportunity to win a prize of a lifetime. Our prize today is 500 of the industry's best dumbasses.
Huh.
I thought about giving you a lifetime supply of Adobe Suite products, but we don't want any of that. And
if not 500 of the industry best dumbasses, maybe I at least get 50 dumbasses to subscribe to Rowdy Joe.
There you go. Are you ready for the quiz, BlenderDumbass?
Let's go.
Okay. Favorite movie and why is it Spaceballs?
Spaceballs has my favorite shot in all of comedy.
Okay.
It's the opening shot of the ship.
Spaceballs 1.
You know, those who've seen this movie know what I'm talking about. I remember being like a 9-year-old and watching this for the first time, and it's like, ta-dum, and it goes.
Yeah.
And the summon is ta-dum, and it still goes, and I'm like, and it goes, and I'm starting to laugh because it's so long, and my brother starts to laugh, and we're starting to laugh even harder because it doesn't end.
It keeps going. Yep.
And it keeps going, and it's like, and it's also a joke for guys.
I never thought about it like that, but you are spot on.
It's Spaceballs, and the first thing is a very long object. Come on.
It's a very phallic, and it has to be bigger than everyone else's. I've literally never caught that. That's amazing.
Now, my favorite movie that is not Spaceballs.
No, you're fine. Go ahead. You're wrong, but please go on.
I have three. The number 3 will be School of Rock.
School of Rock's great. I just show my kids.
I love Richard Linklater as a whole. Richard Linklater is one of those directors that you can give him a little bit of money, a little bit, just for a little drama film, and he's gonna make something awesome out of it. Like, did you see the latest movie about Hitman he made just last year? With it's a small little Netflix movie that was limited run in the cinema, but even though it doesn't have like flashy like superhero type fight scenes or whatever, it's still like Richard Linklater perfectly good stuff. You know, it's like the kind of movie that is just, I don't know. It's very good with the limitations he has. And then he made a movie about, I think he's thinking kind of similarly to Lars von Trier. You remember Lars von Trier? He puts himself like impossible challenges, and you know the movie without decorations or the movie where he spoils the ending in the beginning. So Richard Linklater made a movie called Before Sunrise, which is basically the premise of the movie is how do you make a movie about two people talking all the time interesting? Like the whole movie is one long conversation of two people.
I mean, that's literally what the show is. So.
No, but think about this. He made the movie so good. You cry in the end like a goddamn baby. And it's just a conversation of two people. It's just literally two people. You have two characters. Okay, but you have one character there, one character that they meet along the way. They like walk around the town and talk. That's all they do. But that's good. And then he made a movie with Jack Black called School of Rock, which the whole premise is you have this I don't know how to call it, like a person that kidnaps children from the school, basically.
I watched it as an adult, and I'm like, this is actually horrifying.
Yes. And then in the end of the movie, when everybody understood that he wasn't the teacher, the kids actually go to him, to his house, and then like, wake up, you dumbass, let's go make some rock. You know, good stuff.
Okay.
Now, that was the number 3. Number 2 movie, I actually don't know what number 2 movie is.
What's number 1
There's
then?
a lot of that is a lot of stuff. I have a lot of stuff on my list to be number 2 movie. I could put like a bunch of the Nicholas Winding Refn filmography on number 2. Nicholas Winding Refn is kind of this guy from Denmark he's like trying to be Lars von Trierian, but not quite.
The only one that I know from Denmark is the guy that made the Human Centipede, apparently. So
well, Human Centipede is just trying to be trash. But if you want a proper
I've never seen it.
If you want a proper Denmark horror film that is impossible to watch, I have 2 movies for you, both of them from Lars von Trier. One of them is called Antichrist. It's so impossible to watch. Like, it's literally like there is a scene where, like, I'm not going to spoil it. It's like, like you have to literally sit through it. It's painful.
No, I'm good. I'm not the
and then the
type.
same
No.
director did a comedy which traumatized me for half a year, called The House That Jack Built.
I don't know that one either.
I regret going to the cinema to watch the unrated cut of it. Okay, I have PTSD right now.
Okay, let's go on to the next question then.
Okay, wait.
It doesn't surprise me. Like, you love films, so
the best movie though is
yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't like the subject matter right now, but the movie is good. It's called AI, Artificial Intelligence, by Steven Spielberg from 2001.
Oh, I never liked that movie.
So
it's a beautifully shot movie. It's gorgeous. I just never clicked for me.
So the reason was, so here's this. My first exposure to it was when I was very, very, very small, and on the TV they advertised it as this post-apocalypse, like everything, like because there is like this idea of like the glaciers are melted and the water risen to the top, and like a lot of people got killed by that and so stuff. Like it's like in the prologue, and you'd never see it, but it's horrifying enough, so it's going to be like a horror film for a kid, right? And then in the end of the film, everybody dies, and you have only robots. It's like even more horror film for a kid. So I was like really like respecting it from the perspective of, I knew it was a very scary movie to watch. And then also it's Steven Spielberg. Like, I knew that it was something like respectful. And then I was 12, 13-ish. We didn't have a lot of money. Now, don't judge me. It's kind of illegal what I did. My mom just bought a new laptop. I was 13 years old. I opened it up. We didn't have internet at the house. But if you take the laptop and you move your hand out of the window just enough, you could connect to the Wi-Fi of the local pharmacy.
Okay.
That had a free Wi-Fi. It was a really shit connection, but it was working. The problem is, if I took it for a second inside, the connection would be lost. I thought, okay, I am dedicated. I'm going to watch the stupid AI movie by Steven Spielberg. I looked up on the internet. I found somebody somewhere published a link to an AVI file for it. So the problem with that AVI file was, if I pause the download, or if the connection drops for even a second, I have to download it from the beginning.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So I'm waiting there with this thing in my hand. It was like maybe 9 in the morning.
Okay.
It finished downloading at 10 or 9 in the night.
Oh my
12
God.
hours with my hand like this outside of the window, waiting for this goddamn thing to get down there. So it's done. I have finally the file. I take the computer in. My hand is fucking hurts. I sit in front of it. This amount of work to just watch one goddamn hour, like maybe 3 hours long, but this amount of work to watch a movie, this is insane. I'm hyped. I remember like how I respect this. I know that it's Steven Spielberg. I respect that. We turn off the lights. We know that nothing will stop us now. We're gonna enjoy that. Me and my brother are sitting there. We watch the goddamn movie, and that's the first time in my life that I cried my ass off from a movie.
Wow.
The experience was so good.
Well, you worked for it too.
Yes. The experience alone broke that little thing in me. That from that, like, that's that movie that broke me emotionally into films. Before that, it was like cool stuff, action films, Michael Bay, whatever. But now I could actually enjoy dramas now. Finally, I understand what it is to feel the emotion of the movie, not just see it from that perspective. So this is why, even though I have some issues with some of the shots in the film, like there is some really goddamn fucked up CGI and like the underwater scenes, like in one shot. Like, I'm not gonna tell. It's not everywhere. There is like one kind of bad mistake in one shot, because I've seen it so many times. But the movie is so good. To this day. And also, this is one of those movies that reveal the true Steven Spielberg, even though he's trying to hide it really much. Imagine that. Every director has this movie when they go a little bit batshit crazy. You remember the movie called Babylon that released like 2022 by Damien Chazelle? So the Damien Chazelle did like 3 films. He made Whiplash, which was a tiny movie but made a lot of splash because it was cool and awesome. And then he made La La Land, which was
I've heard of it. I've never seen.
Yeah, which mistakenly won the Oscar, but never actually won the Oscar. But then he made First Man with Ryan Gosling playing the guy who Neil Armstrong, and then they gave him all the money in the world to make whatever the fuck he wants, and he made a 4-hour-long, completely batshit insane film that never stops. Like the pacing of the movie is so hard you get tired from it. For 4 hours long, it just goes like a million miles an hour. This was like his passion project. Like you can see that this guy puts all of the energy into the movie. The movie bombed because nobody can handle this amount of energy.
Yeah.
Every director that has a lot of energy has this kind of movie. For Steven Spielberg, it was 1941. If you know, it's 79. So he made Jaws, and then he made. Third Encounters of the Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then they gave him all the money in the world, and he made a movie that went completely over budget, and it was stupid comedy that went like this. It never stops. It goes like 100 million miles an hour for the entire movie. It's so loud, people got like.
What movie is it?
1941.
Oh,
it is
that
a,
one. Yeah. No, I've never.
It is it's a parody about World War II from Steven Spielberg, and just by definition, because this is the movie that he did with unlimited budget, basically, and that bombed because he went too far. This is the ultimate Steven Spielberg movie. So the ultimate Steven Spielberg movie is a batshit crazy insanity that goes a million miles an hour, has a bunch of set pieces all the time. Like there is a scene of a chase scene between a tank and a thing, and they just go through like a paint factory because it's gonna have more colors when it explodes. This kind of stuff. It's Steven Spielberg at his rawest, right? And then because he understood that people cannot handle that much stuff, right? He started making, slower movies, drama movies, he started making, like Empire of the Sun and Color Purple and then Schindler's List and all that stuff, Yeah. And then AI, he's trying to be like Kubrick, because Kubrick originally had the idea for the movie, and then he just passed away before starting the production, and wife of Kubrick actually asked Spielberg to finish the film. And so he tried to do as slow and methodical as he started to do it as slow as methodical as Kubrick, and also tried, because it's a drama film, to go like the proper Spielberg drama route of slow, we don't go too fast. But then at some points, like there was the part in the Rouge City in the middle when they come to arrest after they went to Dr. No, they come to arrest the Joe character, the robot gigolo, and the boy saves him by basically stealing the chopper, the copter, and doing a bunch of mayhem, and then flying away with them, into the sky. This is like, for a second there, Spielberg just unleashed himself. Like you see, like he was like keeping himself under control, and then action film, Spielberg, and then as soon as it ended, he's like, okay, wait, I'm sorry, I need to keep myself calm. The same kind of thing happened also on Bridge of Spies. You know the movie? Nope. It's about a Russian spy that was found in it's about a Russian spy that was found in America, and they make a trial for him, and basically the plot is they found also an American spy in Russia, and they need to make an exchange between the spies.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a true story kind of drama film, also Steven Spielberg directing it. In the middle of the movie, there's the scene of American spy crashing on the Russian territory. So it's a drama film, like slow, like dolly shots of like camera goes closer as the lawyer character talks about the freedoms and whatnot, of the American way of blah blah blah, and then suddenly you see the plane, 2 rockets, bomb, 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 and a huge, insane crash scene of him trying to survive the crash scene. It's super intense. Like I feel it. Like Steven Spielberg was holding himself, and then he for a second could unleash himself. Yeah, he could let himself out for that one moment. There was a movie.
Right.
Actually, there was
Well,
two movies.
we're way over time. We need to move on. Sorry, don't mean to
Yeah,
cut you off.
yeah.
I know it's a
Basically,
passion of yours.
if you see Steven Spielberg movie and you see a bunch of insanity, like he's trying to be better than Michael Bay at what Michael Bay is doing, it's real Steven Spielberg kind of comes alive for a second.
Yeah.
Spielberg has ADHD.
Okay. All right. Next question, which I imagine is not going to be anywhere near as interesting as that. Do you sleep with your socks on or off?
I don't have socks.
Okay, there you go. So you sleep with them off. When do you eat sandwiches?
Unfortunately,
okay.
I like them.
So if I love sandwiches, I eat sandwiches all the time. If you cut a sandwich, do you cut it on the diagonal or do you cut it straight across?
I don't cut it. I just take a piece of bread out of the bag and I put stuff on it and then I eat it as is.
All right. Sandwiches are great. Yeah, I love sandwiches.
Unfortunately, sandwiches are great. Yeah, well, you see, the problem with sandwiches, you cannot put a piece of broccoli on it and keep it staying on
true.
it. You kind of want to do it in a salad or something.
So, what does a alternative universe BlenderDumbass do?
Hang out with Steven Spielberg and doing copyrighted movies.
Okay. So I have a special phone here. I was able to reach out to an alternate universe. Right, here's my phone. Don't ask. And when I talked to that blender, he said that he is actually a used blender salesman. He sells blenders, but they're all separate parts, so you have to build them yourself. He hasn't sold any yet, but he truly was a dumbass. So,
which of the universes did you talk to, though?
One of them.
Well, yeah. Well, you didn't specify which, so that's what I'm saying. In one of them, I am one of the people who hangs out with Steven Spielberg. Actually, I might still do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I need to get before he dies. I need to be able to
just
give
meet him. To show up at his house.
To give him an idea of how to make movies without copyright or maybe some kind of a petition system.
Next question: up or down?
Are we living on a planet with gravity, or are you talking about in space?
Up or down? You pick. Just which is your favorite, up or down?
Let's go up.
Up? Okay. All right. And then the last question, as usual, you might not know, I'll send it to you telepathically. Once I'm done, I'll let you know that I got it, or I'll let you know that I sent it, but you obviously know because you got it. But we have a podcast, FediCast, that a lot of people can't see, so I'll just let you know when it's there, and then you tell me your answer. Okay? You ready? Okay. I sent you the question.
Yes, this Oscar is fake.
Okay, so there you go. We all wondered it, and now we know. Yeah. Maybe soon it'll be changed. But congratulations, BlenderDumbass. You got every answer, either correct or incorrect. Good job. We had that group of dumbasses, and we figured 500 of them, they'd be able to find their way to you. But unfortunately, the dumbasses got lost along the way. I assigned one head dumbass, but he was I'm pretty sure they walked into the ocean, so maybe they'll show up someday. But sorry, your prize is gone. So if they show up, we'll make sure. If they ever show up, we'll make sure to berate them as is.
I hope at least a few of them reached the Rowdy Joe Mastodon page.
Yes, I hope so. Yeah, go follow them at Rowdy Joe. But that's it. That's all we have time for today. Thank you so much, BlenderDumbass, for coming to hang out. It was very.
Next time is Cory Doctorow. That's going to be insane.
Well, I might have some others lined up, but there is Cory Doctorow coming next week. I'm trying to line up at least one more this week. We'll see how that goes. But Cory Doctorow. So you might have dodged a bullet if I get someone else in there. You might not have to worry about being right near Cory Doctorow. But yeah,
that would be
everyone.
Cool, though.
I'm so nervous for it. It'll be crazy. But thank you guys all for coming to hang out. As usual, make sure you're donating to the projects you care about. Your sysadmins, your software developers, your content creators. Everyone has a part to play in this world, including you. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Be nice to yourself. do nothing but spread love, compassion, empathy. Try to understand other people. We need
No,
more of that in the world today.
wait. You just said do nothing but spread love, compassion. I also
That's
want to make
doing
the game
something.
though. I also want to make the game though, so it's not nothing.
Well, yeah,
but
you could do that too, but at least
spread. Yeah, but then the phrasing would be spread love and compassion, and then do other things too.
do other things too. That's fine. Yeah. And thank you guys all so much. Thank you again to Blender. Everyone have a wonderful day, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.